Meeting started. You're good? All right, welcome everyone to our committee meetings for Wednesday, August 5th. We do have a special committee, but we've got to get through some business first. So we will start off as usual with Health Services Committee.
Good evening, everybody. We're opening up Health Services Committee meeting this evening at 6 p.m. Before we get into our two proposed action items, we have Nikki Johnson here with Astor Head Start to give us a brief update. First.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
Hello.
Hi. Okay. Just a little nervous now that I see myself on either side, but that's okay. So first, I just want to thank you all for giving me some time to come and talk a little bit about Astor Services and what we will be offering in Greene County. Well, what we are offering here in Greene County and what we propose to offer in Greene County. I have met some of you at a few different events. There was some fairs and events that I've seen. So hello again to all of you. But again, my name is Nikki Johnson, work for Astor Services. For those of you who don't know what Astor Services is, we are a big agency that does a lot of mental health services, educational services, and family support services for children and families. The little section of Astor that I work for is our Head Start early childhood program. Our early childhood program, we have centers all throughout Dutchess County. We have had our Head Start program owned, granted, and operating for over almost 50 years at this point. We've been serving children and families of the most high risk needs throughout Dutchess County for all that time. And we were lucky enough to receive the grant to provide services to Greene County residents back in November. And we opened up our site in is that something?
No.
Should we start? Okay. I didn't know if that was like, you're done. Never mind. We don't want to hear you. I'll leave. But we, so I'm talking about Cairo. Yes. So we have our center in Cairo that is up on Volunteer Drive. It's across from that emergency services building, small little 4-room schoolhouse. And we opened it in November and we've been serving families ever since. So a little bit kind of about Head Start, and I'm going to go ahead and just tell you I'm a little nervous. There's a lot of you here. I wasn't quite sure what I was getting into when I was asked to come. So thank you. I'll still be nervous, but I'll still keep chatting. So Head Start is a federally funded program. It's been around for a long time. Most people know that it is based for low-income, high-risk families. So families who are below the federal poverty guidelines, which here in New York are crazy low. Luckily, we live in this state, but we do follow those federal poverty guidelines. We support children and families that are on public assistance, families who may be experiencing homelessness, children that are in foster care. So really the children that are at most high risk. And the idea behind Head Start is just that, to give children and families a head start so that they're ready to move into kindergarten and be successful in your school districts. So what that looks like for us at Head Start is starting prenatally. We can offer care, social supports for moms when they're pregnant. We help them sign up for health insurance. We help get them on WIC if need be. We support them in finding doctors and specialists, housing, food, resources, anything of that nature. Then we also have home-based services for when the baby comes. Our teachers can go right into the home once a week, spend time with mom and baby or guardian and baby for 90 minutes. Supporting not only their education and their development, but also supporting that family in processing what it's like to have a newborn in the home, and getting them the resources that they need, right? So again, if we're talking low income, high risk families, a lot of times that's helping them get the child on Medicaid or continue that process, find them services if they are having a hard time with heating their home or food pantry referrals, things like that. After the baby grows a little bit more, they get to come to our center-based program if we have an opening, which is what we have in Cairo. So we are able to serve infants starting at 8 weeks all the way till they are 18 months in our, 3 years old until in our early Head Start program. And in those toddler classrooms, we do follow a curriculum that is all science and research based that helps support a child's development, not just physical, but we're looking into their social and emotional health, their nutrition, their physical health. We have nurses on staff that do support any child that needs a little bit extra care. And while those children are in our care, we are providing them with everything that they need. So parents don't have to worry about buying formula and sending it in like you would a traditional daycare, or packing a breakfast and a lunch. We provide them with nutritious meals through the CACFP program. And diapers, wipes, all of the things that those babies need come from that Head Start grant. So it's a very all-encompassing program. While we're supporting those babies in our care, we have family advocates that work directly with the moms, dads, guardians, grandparents, whomever is in the home, to help them understand the best next steps for how to care for their child, right? So we want to prepare the kids for kindergarten. That starts from babies, right? We know that those kiddos need the interaction. How are we going to help that parent? Because if all they're thinking about is, where is my next meal? We have to help them get that so that they can provide the right best care for their baby, right? So we try to take that and alleviate that from them by offering them the referrals that we know are in Greene. So that is our our early Head Start program. Our Head Start program is for children 3 to 5, so preschoolers, right? Super fun. Like a traditional preschool for any of you that have kids. I'm sure you've seen your little 3, 4, 5-year-olds in school. Kiddos come in, and again, they receive a healthy, nutritious breakfast. They have a nice structured day that is learning through play, with really rich language with their teachers to help support them in understanding how we interact, how are we a good friend, how do we share, how do we tell our friends when we don't want to share, right? So all of those things to help them be a good person when they get to kindergarten. And that's lovely. But one of the biggest pieces to what we do with those preschoolers is we're also assessing them. So we assess where they are developmentally, physically, social, emotionally, and we help connect the families with the appropriate people to get those students evaluated early. So we can help provide them with services like speech therapy, special instruction, all of those things, because we know as early childhood professionals that if we are able to support those children young and get them started in the programs early, overarchingly what we see is those needs tend to diminish as the child gets through school, right? We start them early, you give them the supports and the therapies that they need. The research does show that then those children are more successful the earlier that you start them in those programs. So we do have those 2 Head Start classrooms. We're really excited to, I guess, announce here, and I'm sure everyone's aware that we are working currently with Barb and the state and all of you to go ahead and open a special ed classroom in that Head Start building. It would be an integrated room, so students that need a little extra support, some special instruction from a special education teacher that we will hire, a speech therapist that come into the building to support those therapies right while the children are in school, so that they can be receiving the services in a real world setting where those children are talking with their friends, and those therapies are there to support their learning on how to be a good friend so that they can be ready for kindergarten, which ultimately is our goal. Okay, that's all of that. So a few of our successes across Dutchess County and Caro, Greene County so far are that we have been able to provide many families with referrals for housing. We support all homeless families in finding working towards getting appropriate jobs and job training. We help find them the resources that they need. I know I was a center director very recently, and I had my own building of students, and we had been able to provide special services evaluations and then placing those students. There, out of 50 students, I think we had 11 of them actually got placed in different programs, which is a huge number. And now those kiddos are successful in kindergarten and first grade. So we love that. Outside of that, we have some challenges, right? There are definitely challenges is Greene County, as you are well aware of, is a rural area. And it's really hard. We are one little section in Caro. We are that one little building, and we are supposed to provide services for all of the students and all of the low-income families in your area. So we are currently working to contract for bus transportation. In fact, I'm working on the contract right now. And we should be able to provide some busing for preschoolers starting in September. And those buses will pick the children right up at their home, bring them right to our school where they'll get that appropriate care, food, all of the needs that they have met, and then take them right home. So they're able to get all of those services from us. We're really excited about that. And we do have 2 home visitors on staff that are also willing to make the trek out to wherever your families are, and provide those learning services in their home, which is wonderful as well. That's actually what my first job was at Astor Services many, many moons ago. And it's a great service. It allows those families that may feel very isolated, as we know in our most rural areas. I'm from a rural part of Dutchess. Those families don't always have a lot of supports around. And we do know, just the research also tells us that social supports mean everything for families in their child's outcome. If a parent has nowhere to turn and they start to feel helpless, we start to see neglect, and we start to see really those developmental milestones not get hit. And we work really hard to prevent that. So that is all of that. A few things that I would love from the committee, and I don't know if this is a great time to ask, but just to work with us. So we are here to support your county and your neediest of children. And I hate that word, but that's what it is. And we really want to help your students be successful as they grow up. Ultimately, that's our goal. It's what we've done in Dutchess County super successfully, what we look to do here. So if we are looking for referrals, please, and you have an agency in your district, or you know of some provider that may be able to support us, please send them our way. That's our job. We're here to support you. We just hope that you would send some people to us. We are also looking to partner with some local healthcare providers. In Dutchess County, we have dentists and pediatricians that we work really, really closely with, the ones that generally accept the Medicaid services that our families need. And we work really closely with them to make sure that those students are getting their physicals on time, their immunizations on time, any referrals to specialists that they may need. We work with all of those doctors and dentists to provide that. So we're looking for partnerships there as well. One last thing is that we are kind of at a lack of space. If anyone has come to visit our little Head Start space, and if you haven't, please do. It's super cute. It's adorable. And if you have kids of your own, trust me, it's reminiscent of when your kids were little. It's a really small building, and we don't have a ton of space for like events. So if there happens to be any space available, I know that there is an emergency center across the street that we would love to partner with and maybe use a little bit of space there when we have events, or if we are able to provide evaluations for special ed there, that would also be great. But yeah, so that's my spiel for now. And I'm so thankful that you guys listened to me this long, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. Hey,
Well, I observe daily your operation,
great.
and I compliment you
Thank you.
on what you're doing there.
Thank you.
Children, when they go out back with their playtime, they're so happy. You know, I hear them, and I spend time over across the street.
Great.
Services in that parking lot there. But thank you for what you're doing. It's nice to see it come back, because we had a couple of years where we had nothing. I know South Carroll had a big operation, right? Early childhood, and then Carroll stopped, and I'm happy to see it back. And I just compliment you on what you're doing. Very interesting talk here tonight. What you actually do. So thank you.
And I know I'm not exactly correct, but correctly different. Very, very, you know, these are our people now, these are our families. Son of a gun, I'm so sorry. It's
Timed out.
It's because I get to chit chat and I'm so sorry. Um, but these are our kids. And I think the one piece that always makes the difference in a child's life is knowing that the people in the building actually care about them. And that's what you see. And I hope that's what you get to see when
Yeah.
you hear those kids outside.
Very good.
Yeah, thank you.
Uh,
Hi.
Quick question for you. So
Yes.
you asked, one thing is for more clients, people to help with. Have you been in contact with our Department of Social Services? Try to
Yes.
work with them on
Yes.
some of the homeless families that they have, that children that might need some of these services?
We have actually. So I'm not the center director. I work with all of our centers across Dutchess and Greene County, but our center director, the woman that works on staff, sorry, not on staff, on site every day is Laura Markle. And she has been in contact with DSS. And I know that we have asked to be put on the referral list. And we do have family advocates that have gone to all of the shelters that we're aware of, to give our information and to try to set up times to actually go in and fill out applications with people. Anyone that's living in a shelter is categorically eligible for program. So in Dutchess County, for example, we have family advocates that are family support workers, right? So we have some that work directly with the shelters. And when a new client comes in, they call her directly and it's okay, we have this child, these are their ages, come on in, do an application, let's get them in program. And we're not going to be able to serve every child, right? I mean, we're one small building right now. But we're going to do our hard, we're going to work our hardest to ensure that we're supporting the families that need our services the most, which are those homeless families.
On average, about how many children are you guys providing services?
In the Caro building?
Yeah.
So total, I have that number for you. It's a small building, but we have in the Caro building, see, I don't have that in front of me, but I do. I can just tell you, in the Caro building, we have 5 infant spots. We have 8 toddler spots. So infants are 8 weeks to 18 months. Our toddlers are 18 months to 3 years. And then we have 34 spots for the preschool students. And that's it for now in the center-based program. Then we can serve 20 children in their homes. Again, a small operation right now, there's no telling what it could grow into. And if the numbers are there, when we move
So that's
forward.
what you're currently servicing?
Yep, that's for September. Yes. So
September,
we
yeah.
only just opened in November and it's been like, getting it off the
So
ground,
those-
hiring.
The filled spots that
Oh.
you're going to service.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, we're really excited. Yep.
Great.
Fully staffed and fully enrolled. We're ready. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
So quick question too is, so if you, as a parent are earning more than that
Yeah.
threshold, you're not eligible for these services.
So yes and no. So for Head Start, there are these, what's the word I'm looking for? There are certain levels and criteria. So yes, if a person is making over 100% of the federal poverty guideline, which is very low for a family of 4, it's I think under $32,000, they aren't immediately eligible. However, we do questionnaires as part of our intake process. I'm sorry, our application process. So some of those questions are really personal. Things like, have you had CPS recently in your family? Is there traumatic events that this child has had in their home? Do you have any concerns about their development or anything like that? And that all weighs into the decision for who gets picked. Ultimately, the goal is that we're supporting the children and families that need our services the most. Anyone that isn't eligible or isn't picked, for example, we do connect them to all of the different organizations that we can to help them find childcare subsidies and things of that nature. But Head Start is that little niche piece to childcare that is really supporting the people who need the help the most, who need that support the most. So there is that piece to it. That being said, for our special ed slots, for those integrated slots that I was just talking about, that we're really excited about, those are not income based. So if Greene County says we have little Johnny and he needs special ed services special instruction services every day, and he has speech therapy 3 times a week, and he can be assigned to us, even if their families are making far more than the federal poverty guidelines, because ultimately it is serving the needs of the people who need that service the most. If that makes sense.
Sure does.
Yeah. Yeah, no problem.
I'm
Yes.
Guessing that this is something that we can add to our Think Differently initiative, where we're trying to be more inclusive. And I was gonna ask Laura, if some of these services that she's talking about, is that something that we could include? Just because I'm wondering how many families actually know that you exist.
So more and more. Our center director, Laura Markle, is fantastic at advertising. We've been at all of the community events. And the biggest piece to what we do is that families talk, right? We reach out to them and they share the great experiences that they have, and luckily the referrals come in. But as we stay and as we're solid, the community will know that we're back, right? I think that that's the other piece is when Head Start left, and I apologize because I don't remember who the grantee was, I apologize. But when they had to shut down and they lost their grant, I think that the community feels that so deeply, that they think, well, it's gone, it's never coming back, we're gonna go find something else. So really, it's just us being solid there for us to build the trust of the community again, so they know we're not going anywhere. So it's just gonna take a little time, but they've come in because we're full. So we're
Right
here.
now, you're still 100% federally funded.
Yes, yeah, Hard Start is federally funded, yes. Anything else? All right, well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it, and we love being here in Greene County, so thank you so much. And I do have some flyers I can point.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all right.
Nikki, I absolutely love your passion and enthusiasm. They are lucky to have you.
And we do the best work. It's good work, right? You get to work with the most vulnerable population, but those babies. I do ask each and every one of you to please try to schedule a time to come and visit when kids are in session. I'm telling you, you'll melt. They're the cutest. You'll have the best. time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I do believe that Barbara Wallace has a brief presentation for us.
Here, but,
I'm sorry.
and you know, I'm Barb Wallace, the director of the preschool special ed program here at Public Health. And Laura and I went on some field trips to go visit our center-based programs. But first of all, I want to say thank you to Matt, Pat, and Jay for attending our youth fair and meeting a lot of our providers at that event. And it was a great opportunity for us to just collaborate and discuss, you know, the needs of our county. And we're so happy to have Aster join us on our team. We're going to be presenting the contract for your approval this evening. And as a former Head Start employee myself, it's very addicting. I mean, it's a wonderful program. It's all inclusive. Families have voice in it. It's been around since the 60s. It's a federal grant, but it's amazing what they can do supporting families. We've had in Columbia County, we've had parents that started as having their children in a program. They became an employee as a TA. They got their education. Head Start provides support for education. And they go on and become teachers themselves. And it's just a wonderful step up for everyone. So thank you for being here with us.
So my oldest daughter is almost 30 and I was a Head Start mom 30 years ago. So,
There
right.
you go.
So it does come full circle, right? And it is that's the beauty of what we do.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, wonderful. So back to Laura and I doing our field trips. In June, we went to go visit some of our programs. We saw a co-arc. We went to see Anderson, Spectrum, Wraparound, and Circle of Friends. The little PowerPoint I put together focuses mostly on co-arc. We have 18 children this year that attended. And so I think a picture's worth 1,000 words. Hopefully our video will work, and we'll see how that goes. So further ado, here we go.
Okay.
Is that everything?
Thank you. Okay, without further ado, we'll get on to the proposed action items. First one, authorizing agreement, Greene County Mental Health and Coordinated Care Services, Inc. True, Handle, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That's carried. Approving center-based provider contract, preschool special education program.
Lennon,
Lanudo, Lennon, Handle, Lavera, True. Is that it?
committee.
All right. That is passed. Is there anything else to come before Health Services Committee this evening?
Motion to close.
We are closed. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll take your. I can pass it from. You're welcome. Thank you. Yeah, it's nice to see you too.
Thank you.
No, now it's on. So you missed that? I don't have to repeat any of that, right? No, I don't have to repeat it. So anyway, we have Doreen Davis. She resides in Palmville. She chairs the Board of Trustees. And again, a number of people who represent the college will be speaking tonight. So whoever wants to go first, go right ahead.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you so much, Mr. Bulich, for your warm welcome and support of Columbia Greene Community College. My name is Drew, and I serve as Chief of Staff at Columbia Greene Community College, and on behalf of Dr. Victoria Walsh, bless you, President of Columbia Greene, we just want to extend our utmost appreciation and gratitude for each and every one of you for your ongoing support. As Mr. Mulich mentioned, we do have Trustee Doreen Davis with us this evening, as well as members of Dr. Walsh's executive team, myself, Dr. Bryant Morgan, Chief Financial Officer, Joelle Phelps, Vice President for Student Success, Dr. Rachel Chubb, Chief Operating Officer, and Carl Norris, Executive Director of Workforce Development. Our presentation won't be as tear-jerking as the last one or compelling, but we do want to share with you our commitment to continuing to support Columbia Greene students and our commitment to continue our quest to serve as the college of first choice in our area, both for residents of Greene County, but also Columbia County and those beyond our county walls. We feel that we've prepared a budget that focuses on the college's sustainability and viability and has a forward-looking approach so that we can continue to serve the region and support the college's mission. I know that they've just stepped out, but we're so grateful for our community partners, Dr. Churchill, and our doors are always open to anyone who'd like to use the college for programming or training space or really anything that we can do to help support and advance your mission. We do have on campus a family planning clinic. I think we're the only school within the SUNY system that is able to offer that service to our students and to the wider community, thanks to partnerships and support from folks like you all. So without further ado, I will pass it over to my colleague, Dr. Bryant Morgan, and he will share with you an overview of the college's budget. And from there, we are happy to answer any questions that you might have. We did bring our budget before our Board of Trustees last Monday, and they have approved our proposal for 26-27. And we really do hope that you take into consideration the good work that's happening on campus for our students and residents. Thank you so very much, Dr. Morgan.
And thank you all for, as Drew said, for allowing us to be here today. Like Drew, I feel remiss that we don't have any music or any videos to show you, but we thought what we would do is take about 10 minutes to go over the budget and then leave the time that remains for questions from you. Feel free to ask any questions. We'll take longer or shorter on any part of this that you think would be worthwhile for us to either focus on or give less focus to. I'm here with the understanding that you all have received as emails a packet of materials that looks like this. So I'll just go through it and highlight some of the elements of it. As you see on the title page, it says Board of Trustees, and this was based on the meeting that was held this past, I don't remember what day it was, but the 27th of July, in which we went over this budget with the board. We've worked closely with the board and the finance committee of the board in its development, and have tried to put together a thoughtful fiscal package that represents a sustainable financial structure for the college. The third page of it is a spreadsheet after the titles that contains a summary of the budget that was presented to the board and that was ultimately approved by the board. I'll highlight a few of the noteworthy elements of it, and again, feel free to ask any questions if you have any. The critical part of the budget is the financial support that's derived from multiple sources. One is the tuition and fees that are paid by the students. Another is the generous contributions and support of the two counties, you all and your partners across the river in Columbia County, and then from the state. We also received support from the foundation that is established as a separate 501(c) organization to support the activities of the college. On line 16 is a summary of the total tuition and fees that are collected from the students and those who are participants in the programs of the college. For the coming year, we're budgeting $5.7 million from those various sources. You'll see the largest source is tuition at about $4.7 million. As a matter of formatting here, column B is the budget for the current year, which will conclude August 31st. Column D and E show the increases from that budget to the budget for the new year in dollar terms and percentage terms respectively, and then the budget for 2027 is in column G. You'll see that tuition and fees on line 11 is projected to go up according to this budget by about 1.5%. That's net of a slight decline in enrollment and a slight increase of 3% in tuition and fees. Overall, from the different sources on line 16, tuition and fees will increase by about 3.8% to that $5.7 million figure that I referenced earlier. State aid at about 2.9 million on line 18 is an estimate. It's based on a per student rate that will be unchanged for next year, and I believe it's been unchanged for the last several years at around $2,900 per student. The critical line for this purposes of this meeting is the sponsor's contribution. Roughly half of that comes from you all and half comes from Columbia County. That number you'll see is unchanged on line 20. And in fact, that number has not changed for the last 7 years or so. What has changed is the distribution between the two counties, modestly depending on enrollment, and you'll see in the packet a little greater information about that. Another big source of income for us has been charges to other counties. Students from other counties besides the two sponsoring counties are assessed a fee that is determined by the state on a per student basis. And it's projected to be about $2.3 million. Gifts, grants, and contracts on line 28 is predominantly the support we receive from the foundation and then other revenues. Total revenues are planned in this budget to be a little under $18.5 million, a slight decline of about 1.2%. Before I move on to the expenditure section, are there any questions about the revenue that I might be able to answer for you? Line 30? Yeah. That line for this current year is a large portion of that is reimbursements from the WIOA program, the Worker Innovation and Opportunity Act money that comes through the federal government and has been provided and managed by the New York State Department of Labor. You all are probably aware that the college used to be the fiscal agent for that money for the last many years, and it's now shifting here to Greene County. A large part of that is reimbursements to the college for payroll and other related expenditures in support of that. And since we won't be the fiscal agent anymore, then we don't budget that. Moving on to the expenditure section, it's divided into 4 categories defined and commonly followed by the state: personal services, which is salaries and wages; equipment; contractual expenses, which is kind of a misleading name because title, because they're things that are not contracts, such as purchases for office supplies and other goods and services used by the college; and employee benefits. Employee benefits and personal services, you'll see, are scheduled to decline. Part of that is a result of a reduction in force that actually took place this year, and a perpetuation of that, but also is based on better controlling what we call overload payments to faculty for taking on more classes than would be expected of a standard faculty contract, and making more judicious use of adjunct faculty. Employee benefits is really a function of the amounts that are paid for salaries and wages, and so that has gone down as well. Contractual expenditures, we took a very close look at how we spend our money on things such as technology, expenses related to travel and conferences, memberships and professional organizations, and so on. A large part of that 700,000 decline is taking a different approach to how we fund and manage the administration of technology services on campus. Are there any questions about the expenditure section? I think an important thing to bring to your attention is that final line, excess revenue over expenditures. For the current year, the budget factored in a deficit of about a little over $1 million. That was intended to be covered by a reserve that the college maintains, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. We have not closed out the year. As I mentioned, our fiscal year ends August 31st, but it looks like we're headed toward a number that will be less than that, a deficit of somewhere around $550,000. But for next year, we're pleased to show that we're budgeting, we've developed a budget that is essentially a break-even budget with a slight deficit of, slight surplus of about $23,800.
You're not going to be using any fund balance.
Correct. Yep. If things go as planned.
Okay.
But yes, and it's a carefully thought out plan. It's not just a hope.
Sure.
Yeah. On the next page, there's kind of what might look like a busy worksheet that shows actual and budgeted revenue and expenditures for the last many years. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but the thing I wanted to bring to your attention is the bottom number line just above total revenues, a line that's entitled appropriated fund balance. This is a format that's used by the state where rather than showing a surplus or a deficit at the end, they make sure it all balances, that total expenditures match total revenues. And that is accomplished by that line there, appropriated fund balance. On years where there's a surplus, the appropriated fund balance is money that's actually given back to the fund balance. So it shows as a negative number here, and appropriated balance as a positive number, not in brackets, is actually a deficit. And the reason that I've presented the budget the way that you saw it, so that we do have a bottom line, a deficit or surplus, is so that you can get a better sense of what the magnitude of that is, not only for next year or this year, but over the course of time. And that's what this graph on the next page shows. Anything above zero, so there are two items on here. One are the bars. The bars are the annual surplus or deficit. Anything above zero is the surplus. Anything below zero is the deficit. You can see that starting in fiscal year 18, there were a series of 5 years in which there were surpluses. Beginning in 2023, a very serious deficit, a lesser deficit in 24 and 25. The distinction between the blue and the red is the blue are budget figures, the red are actual figures. And then you can see the modest surplus, which is just basically a line for fiscal year 27. The line that connects the dots is the cumulative effect of those deficits or surpluses. So you can see starting in 2018, the cumulative effect was in addition to the fund balance that reached about $4 million and then a decline from there. The result of that change over time is that cumulatively over that period that's presented there, there was a deficit, a cumulative deficit of about about $1.8 million. So the fund balance for the college as of the end of this time period here will be about $1.8 million less than it was in 2018. Hence the reason why we need to be more disciplined about developing balanced budgets, and that is our focus and our determination. Are there any questions about that? The next few pages are a series of pie charts, and I think many of you saw these at the joint activity that took place at the college to give you a sense of the financial structure of the college. So, and there's really no need unless you feel the need to go into detail on these. But I'll just point out a couple things. One, if you thumb through these, you'll see that they all look basically the same. That not much changes in terms of the sources of income or in terms of how the money is spent. Approximately 30% of the budget you'll see comes from tuition and fees, about 15 to 16 or 17% from state aid, another third from the sponsor contributions, and then the other support for the institution are those smaller pies. And again, if you come through, you'll see that those change very little from year to year. On the expenditure side, the same function can be observed that the distribution doesn't change much in how money is spent. Roughly about 3/4 of the budget goes to personnel, either in the form of salaries and wages or benefits. Are there any thoughts or questions about those allocations?
Search it.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, and it's been fairly constant over time too, just as costs have continued to rise. So it does place a greater onus on the college to make the money work and to be more efficient with.
When Pat's talking about the state aid, in the state budget, didn't they allocate more funds to community colleges, but your college won't be sharing any, receiving any of that?
One of the things that they've done, that the general support, I haven't been with the college to experience the full history, but from what I see of the history, it hasn't changed on a per student basis. I think the number is $2,997, and that's based on enrollment.
Okay.
And it's based on, they factor it on sort of a moving average, just as we use a moving average enrollment to determine the split between Greene and Columbia counties. What the state has done is they've provided some additional funding for smaller initiatives. There's a pool of about $8 million that I think began last year, that's distributed among the community colleges based on supporting specific programs. The colleges that want to participate in the utilization of those funds has to present a proposal and have that approved and have the money then authorized by the state. I think this year is the first year that they've added to it a pool of $4 million that is provided to for support on a more discretionary basis. I think for this year, we received like $50,000 out of $4 million. The money that we'll get from the state for next year will probably be somewhere on beyond the standard state support, on the order of about $300,000 or so.
Okay.
So yes, the state is directing more money to the colleges, but on a per college basis, it's not an extraordinary amount.
Okay.
Dollars the state hands out to be divvied up if you meet the criteria. It's not $4 million to the school. There's several other community
Right,
colleges.
right.
correct?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
if
the
you
4
meet it, you
million's
could
not for us,
receive
it's for,
$50,000 to $60,000.
right. That's right.
Okay.
The next page in your packet is just a schedule of the tuition and fees. So the next section in this presentation is the development of the split between the two counties and the sponsor share of the sponsorship amount. And this shows how it was calculated for the current fiscal year and the calculation for the next fiscal year. As I mentioned, it's based on the average enrollment between the two counties, and it's split over, and it's the average of the most recent 3 years. That changes a little bit over time, but based on what we are projecting for enrollment for next year, well, these are not based on projected, but they're based on actual enrollments. So the bottom box that is for 2027 is based on fall enrollment in 2023, 2024, and 2025, with the fall of 2025 being the current academic year, current fiscal year. The average for Columbia County was about 611 FTE students, or headcount students, and then about 536 for Greene County. You'll see that for the enrollment data that were used to develop the split for the current fiscal year was 588 and 527.28 respectively. The result of that is dividing the roughly $6.5 million in sponsorship support between the two counties is that due to the way that enrollment has changed, that for Columbia County, their contribution will increase about $36,000. The support that we would request from you would decline about $36,000. The third column of data where it says allocation based on fall headcount is what it would be like if we did not use a moving average. The moving average is intended to control for any volatility that may occur year to year. But on that basis, the result would be a decrease in your contribution of about 120,000 and an increase for Columbia. But the middle moving average or 3-year average calculation is what is been utilized over time. Any questions about that? I just thought in the next page, the bar chart just shows what it has looked like over time, and you'll see that the split between the two counties really doesn't change markedly from year to year. See the growth in the total between the two. A high point was reached in 2020, and then declined slightly to the current $6,448,350 figure. So since 2021, that number has been unchanged. As a point of reference, over the course of time since 2021, the consumer price index has increased about 23%. There's another index that colleges and universities rely on in their budgeting and financial work called the Higher Education Price Index, which is very similar to the Consumer Price Index, but it's based on a market basket of goods consumed by colleges and universities. Historically, that Higher Education Price Index has been higher than the Consumer Price Index because many of the things that colleges and universities purchase, such as subscriptions to databases, laboratory equipment, and so on, increase at rates higher than the household products that consumers buy. But oddly, during this recent period, the Higher Education Price Index has increased only about 17% versus 23% in the Consumer Price Index. If the contribution from the counties had kept pace with either the Consumer Price Index or the Higher Education Price Index, for next year, the amount instead of about $6.45 million would be range between 7.6 million or 7.9 million. So I think that's worth pointing out again as an illustration of the extent to which the college is called upon to be increasingly frugal with its resources.
How much are you allowed to, say, increase your fees or tuition per year, kind of combat that CPI?
I don't know if there's someone here who has a better response to that, but I know that SUNY takes great scrutiny of that and wants to make sure that whatever increases we propose for tuition and fees can be justified on the basis of the operations of the college. I think that there would be balking on the part of SUNY if it were to exceed the annual change in the consumer price index. So we've tried to be sensitive to that, and even without those kind of limitations imposed by SUNY, just trying to be sensitive to the cost of education for students and for their families. So we try to be, thoughtful about how we invest.
But overall though, from fiscal 21
Mhm.
through, you guys did increase tuition prices
Right,
under the threshold maybe, but it did combat some of that CPI over the course of those
Right.
years.
yeah, that's
Okay.
true. Yeah, one of the things I guess I should have brought, but I'm not prepared. I don't have with me is what that looks like. How much tuition's increased over time. But yeah, you make a good point that tuition and fees have not been static since
Right, okay.
2021.
Okay, thank you.
Um, the last part of this presentation gets a little esoteric, so um, if 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 you lose interest or your eyes glaze over, that's okay. And it's the calculation of the chargeback amount. And that's what's on the bunch of numbers. It's on the second to the last page. But I'll just describe for you the concept that's there. And the concept is to look at the total expenditures of the college, take away from that support that the college receives from different sources, and those include the resident tuition, state aid, federal and state contributions, and so on. And then dividing that by the number of students to come up with an amount that's equivalent to the cost per student for educating those students after these other kinds of support are taken into account. So on that basis, what this shows is that relying on what we've budgeted for next year, taking out those sources of support, that the average cost per student would be about $10,648. And this is all just kind of based on looking forward and making certain assumptions. That number then is multiplied. Well, that's the number that's used when students attend from counties outside of Greene and Columbia County, and it's multiplied by the number of students from those counties. So what that means is under this scenario, if these numbers turn out to be correct, and these numbers are validated by SUNY and they issue a table of what they call chargebacks for the entire state. But under that scenario, students who attend here from outside Greene and Columbia County would be supported in their education to the amount of about $10,650 by their respective counties. The official number for this year was about $10,900. The college has actually received, as you see from the budget, and the actual numbers for this year are a little higher than the budget, a large amount of support from counties outside of Greene and Columbia County on the basis of this chargeback formula. So I thought it would be useful information for you to at least see and learn about the concept that goes behind it. As a pictorial illustration of it, that's the graph that's on the back there. The bars indicate how much money has either been received from the college in actual chargebacks from other counties, or for the 2 years at the end, the blue are what are budgeted. The amount that the item that the dots and joined by the dotted lines are the per student basis, and the per student basis is the axis on the right side of the chart. But you can see that there have been some substantial amount of support that has been received through this chargeback process. And we have, as you also see from what's budgeted, recipients of a fair amount of support from counties outside of Greene and Columbia counties. Part of it is is students who come to enroll in programs that may not exist in those counties, such as our nursing program and others. And so we're focusing on those things that we can do to not only be of service to the residents of Greene and Columbia counties, but surrounding counties as well. So that's an overview of the budget, where we are, what we're looking toward for next year. And if you have any questions about that, I'd be certainly happy to entertain those.
Well, Dr. Morgan, I'm glad you didn't skip that last end, because I'm not sure if everyone understood exactly, because we have to pay a bill too. Which is not included here for our kids going to other colleges.
Yep.
And so 650 to 700,000 a year to outside county community colleges.
Right.
And that remains constant, that number that you were discussing, basically. So $10,900 per student
Mhm.
divided into, we'll give you the number of kids that
But
are,
actually, it varies from institution to institution, depending on the financial structure of those institutions. So actually, Columbia Greene Community College is one of the higher rated colleges in terms of what the amount is from other counties. But your point is a very important one, and one that we try to be sensitive to as well, which is that if the college does not provide the kind of educational programming that residents of these two counties are looking for, they'll probably go do it, look for it somewhere else. And when they do that, then as Sean pointed out, you all have to pay those other counties where those students go. So it is beneficial to, I think, all concerned for the college to have the kind of programs that people in this area need and are looking for.
sure. Anybody else for the doctor here? No, well, listen, I appreciate this, what you did there. You really did, show some good numbers there, and I really can't stress enough how important it was for you to stop the bleeding on fund balance use and reverse that a little bit, and hopefully be able to drop some surplus back into a fund balance going forward.
Right.
So, that was good to see.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let me reboot my computer here once again. What? Gosh, give me one more second here. No, I get it. Oh, thanks, Daryl. Oh, it went off.
That's why Charlie uses paper.
Okay, moving forward here, we'll go with our first agenda item, and this is setting our public hearing for the 26-27 operating budget for Columbia Greene Community College. I need a motion. Hobart second. Lucas, any discussion on that one? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, so carried. Number 2 is adopting the 2026-2027 operating budget for the Columbia Greene Community College. I need a motion on that.
Like,
Dorrington?
I'm not sure that
Dorrington?
this is the correct verbiage on this, because I don't think we shouldn't be adopting the budget before we have a public hearing on it.
Okay.
Be adopted
I
these
think
tentative
it should be accepting the proposed.
Okay, let's change that. Do we need to make a motion to modify that?
Yeah, I'll make that motion to
We have
amend
I'll second it.
the wording.
by Chairman Linger and seconded by Hobart for accepting the 2026 operating
The proposed.
and
Proposed
27
operating
proposed operating budget for 2026 and 2027 for the college. I need a motion on that one.
I'll move that.
Dorrington, second by Lennon. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So carried. Anything else to come before?
Motion.
I'll second.
Hold on one second here. Sorry about that.
Seconded.
Lennon.
Lennon. All right, we are closed. Thank you.
Sorry for the confusion there.
Okay, I'd like to open up public safety at, wow, 7:10. Thank you. Sean, you said you had a quick one, something quick? Please, start with you.
Just a real brief update. Is this one on? No. Is this one's on? You get, okay. As of the last statewide county EMS coordinator meeting of this morning, just a little update on the planning process for the collaborative plans due by December. Throughout the state, out of 1,400 agencies authorized to operate in the state, they've received 142 responses back so far. The deadline is Sunday, so we're hoping to get a lot more. Greene County is definitely way ahead of the game with a lot of participation from the agencies. We only have 3 agencies that haven't submitted through the portal yet. One of them did directly send it to me by accident instead of sending it through the portal. So that one's complete. One other local service is almost complete. And I believe the paramedic service is still finishing up. But then we'll be 100% compliant with the reporting from the agency aspect. Out of 124 core sponsors, which run the EMS, whether it's paramedic, BLS, education programs throughout the state, 25 have responded back, and we are one of those 25 that have. So we are moving at a decent pace for that. The municipal surveys, there is a hold on a question on that of whether they want all that going through the portal as well, because there's a lot of information that could show as duplicates. And we already have obtained most of it through the 911 system and the CAD reporting on all that. So they may reduce that or only require the first section when it goes out to the municipalities, being all the different towns. Other than that, that's where we're at. And once those numbers come through, get digested, we'll move forward on the next step of planning and go from there. But so far we're on pace. Welcome.
Thanks, Sean. Sheriff?
All right, good evening. For the month of July, the numbers, we made 21 civil attempts, served 23 civil papers, issued 115 traffic tickets, investigated 24 traffic accidents, made 52 arrests and 4 DWI arrests. We handled 676 calls for service and made 346 traffic stops. On July 1st, the starting jail population was 41, and as of July 31st, it was 38, the high for the month being 44. Corrections officers did 40 transports, traveling 1,412 miles, totaling 98 hours, moving 51 inmates, and we have no state-ready inmates in our custody. I am planning on signing on to an action against the state regarding them passing the law barring sheriffs from entering into contracts with the federal government regarding ICE detention and detainees. More importantly, preventing cooperation with ICE. FAIR, which is a not-for-profit anti-sanctuary immigration reform group, who is going to represent all the sheriffs and counties at no cost, believes that this is a violation of the U.S. Constitution and the New York State Constitution. It also appears to violate the municipal home rule law by telling you what contracts you can and cannot sign. FAIR is already filed in Maryland, where they have passed similar legislation. This is just another example of the state putting politics above public safety. We have a good working relationship with ICE and need to communicate with them when it comes to illegal aliens who are committing crimes against our own citizens. I'm asking you also to consider supporting this and possibly signing on as county. There are already 20 sheriffs and a growing number of counties that have indicated that they will be on board. And I have forwarded the paperwork to the county attorney for his review. This past month, we were able to send 20 Greene County children to the state sheriff's camp. There was one specific child who was in a terrible situation that we had to make some special arrangements for, but I'm pleased to report that he had a great time and they all really benefited from the program. Just this past weekend, we handled a fatal UTV accident in Maple Crest, in which a side-by-side was being utilized by 4 children aged 10 to 14. They went off a driveway and flipped over, ejecting all 4, killing the 12-year-old and severely injuring a 10-year-old who remains in Albany Medical Center. Our deputies, EMS, fire, and dispatch personnel all did a great job working together and making the best out of a horrific scene. Lastly, the 6 action items that you have are all the SRO contracts with all schools in the county.
Sheriff, I just want to commend you guys on I just noticed the press release about the search warrant that was executed right across the street for narcotics trafficking, right under everybody's noses here. So good work done.
Thank you. That will be on next month's report, since it's August, but yeah, we arrested 3 there, and one of the subjects actually had a probation warrant that's been in existence for 8 months. Thank you.
Thanks, Sheriff. Dan?
Evening. Numbers for July. 625 EMS calls, 474 fire calls, 1,791 police calls, and 972 in the other category. We handled 15 text to 911 calls. There were 62 mutual aid movements and 7 fire mutual aid calls. 911 calls, however, were 5,049. That is a marked increase over the month before, partially due to the July 29th flooding event. And earlier in the month, we had a 4-day period of several hundred phantom 911 calls, which is a Verizon phone line issue that finally got resolved after 4 days. Just a quick recap and bring up to speed where we are regarding the July 29th flooding event. Depending on where you were in the county, we received between 6 and 11 inches of rain over a 24-hour period. The heaviest of which was concentrated in Greenville, New Baltimore, Coxsackie, and the northern part of Athens. In the 911 center, they handled 396 calls between midnight and 3 p.m. that day. Only 13 of those were not storm related. Our emergency alerting system automatically activated 17 times for flash flood warnings in the county, alerting 6,560 phones and generating 3,290 emails. That's on the automatic side. We initiated 3 separate alerts, generating 25,881 calls and 1,481 emails that day. State of emergency declarations were issued by Greene County, the town of Carroll, town of Greenville, town of Hunter, village of Tannersville, and town of Wyndham. The county, Greenville, and Tannersville states of emergencies are still in effect. The others have been rescinded. The fire departments across the county responded to countless pump out requests. We had a little over 180 in our records, but we know that there were many more that did not show up in our data. All the highway crews worked diligently through the storm, responding to close off flooded roadways as soon as they were alerted to them, whether it was state, county, towns, villages, they were all great. From our cache of supplies in the emergency management office, we deployed 2 of the portable pumps that we maintain to Coxsackie to assist the fire department in their pump outs. And we also sent 30 sandbags, and special thanks there to Wes and his crew at the highway garage for filling the sandbags and getting the pumps prepped. During this, for the first time, we activated the Greene Columbia COAD, the Community Organizations Active in Disasters Group, to provide additional resource support. The American Red Cross was tasked initially with opening 2 evacuation shelters, one in Hunter and one in Greenville. They transitioned to assisting with water distribution and are now leading the recovery assistance program. On Friday from 10 to 7 at the Coxsackie Village office, we will have a multi-agency resource center consisting of Red Cross, Community Action, DSS, Mental Health, 211, New York Connects, Human Services, and some other agencies. Will be in attendance to provide planning support, casework, cleanup kits, water, information, and other resources. Through the COAD, we've also tasked Team Rubicon, who's another COAD partner. It's a nationwide organization, with mobilizing muck out assistance, which will likely occur next week. And the planning on that is still ongoing. On the public damages side, we received initial damage assessments from 8 of the jurisdictions, totaling a little over 500,000 in damages in the county, mostly culvert repair, replacement, and road shoulder erosion repairs. While we crossed the county threshold for federal declaration, the required statewide total was out of reach. Any questions on that? Thank you. There were a lot of our new technologies and new processes that were utilized. All call was the first time we did it on the fire departments, which is also why we lost count of the pump outs, because we shifted it to the locals and send everyone to their stations. The automatic flash flood warning, that's a new thing for us as well. We were not in the middle. It was, an automatic into our system.
Dan, does that go out to everybody on a flash flood, or is it to areas where you guys have mapped that could?
So that's map. So when the National Weather Service maps that area, and anyone who's registered in the system that falls within that mapped area, it's automatic.
Okay, all right. And secondly, what is the reason that there are still state of emergencies, whether our county or these other municipalities?
So,
I mean, it's a week later, I just.
correct.
curious.
So by leaving it open, it just, if we need additional resources, it prioritizes it for us still. It was just. Correct. And it was yesterday that I had to get another 2 pallets of water delivered in. So by staying in that state of emergency, we basically, it's a call, they say, okay.
Okay,
I don't
sure.
have to jump. If we were in that, I gotta jump through a lot of hoops to prove how we check all local resources. It speeds up the state resources. So we
Understood.
asked for 2 more pallets. So we received a total of 4 pallets of water, 84 cases per pallet. And distribute them to villages. Yesterday, we took 60 cases up to Bethany Village to support them. I have another 30 cases up in Coxsackie on Friday.
Okay.
Athens boil water was lifted this afternoon. Catskill is still in place.
Oh.
Hoping tomorrow.
Yeah, the hope is that by the end of the week, I can rescind that.
Okay.
We'll just.
We
wait-
should have
wait
a
and see.
better idea. Realistically, once we get about halfway through Friday, we should know where we stand on that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
It was a big help. Updating social media on road closures. I had a lot of people tell me they appreciated that. So whoever was doing that,
So that was
great.
That was
Just
Terry and her office. We would push the information to them. But as you know, roads would open and close almost as fast as we would update the list.
Right.
We tried to get the information pushed a little faster.
And it really did matter where you were in the county.
Yeah, especially Wednesday morning, no one was going anywhere.
Dan, quick question on, were we impacted at all by the outage caused from Mid-Hudson Fiber today? With our 911 center or any
no.
emergency operations?
No, we had no outages at all. The way our stuff operates, we have redundancies built in anyway, but nothing showed up. We have alarms for any piece of equipment ever glitches, right? It triggers an alarm. Nothing on our end triggered. So I don't think it touched our side at all. But even if it did, it would have automatically rerouted.
Thank you.
The Verizon glitches from the other day.
Oh,
Very good. No, nice job, Dan.
So when we say glitches though, is this hacking that's occurring with Verizon and potentially Mid-Hudson? Or is it just a?
I haven't heard about Mid-Hudson.
no, that,
They were hacked.
So you have systems in place to combat that?
correct.
Right.
I mean, for any, I don't want to jinx it, so I won't say. it.
Been in this
But
too
we
long.
do have redundancies built in. We have
Alright.
tertiary mechanisms built in.
Yeah, some of ours is hardlined and some of it's microwave.
Correct.
Yeah, yeah.
And, and we have a tertiary cellular connection to 3, actually it should be 4 of the sites up now. So I'm pretty confident that everything's there, but nothing's perfect.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan. Moving on to the proposed action items. Number 1, authorize an agreement, Greene County Sheriff's Office with Carroll Durham Central School District. Handel and Lennon. Did I hear somebody else or? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Number 2, authorize an agreement, Greene County Sheriff's Office, Catskill Central School District. Lanudo,
Wilbur.
Lavera. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Number 3, authorize an agreement, Greene County Sheriff's Office with Coxsackie Athens Central School District.
Wilbur.
Martinez and Hobart. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Authorize an agreement, Greene County Sheriff's Office with Greenville Central School District.
Handle.
Linger.
Handle and Linger, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Number 5, authorize an agreement, with Greene County Sheriff's Office with Hunter Tannersville Central School District.
Lennon.
Handle.
Lennon and Handle, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Number 6, authorize an agreement, Greene County Sheriff's Office with Wyndham Ashland Jewett Central School District. I'll move that.
Second.
Second by Hobart, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Number 7, authorizing out-of-state travel. Dan King, Deputy Director, Emergency Services.
Handle.
Martinez, Lennon. Did I hear Handle also?
You did.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Number 8, establishing capital project number 181, 2005 State Homeland Security Grant Program. Martinez,
Handle.
Handle, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Number 9, establish capital project number 182, Public Safety Answering Point Grant, 2025 and 2026.
Handle.
I'm sorry,
Handle Linger.
Handle, Linger, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Anything else to bring before public safety?
Motion to close.
Got a motion by Lennon,
Second.
second by Handle. We are closed.
To the special legislature meeting, so I'd like to call the special legislature meeting number 4 for the year 2026 to order and ask everyone to please rise for a moment of silent prayer. And if you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty, and justice for all.
Thank you. Anytime if we have a roll call, please.
Mr. Chairman, all legislators are present with the exception of Legislator Davis and Legislator O'Connell.
Okay, with that, we can move right into the resolution.
Resolution 277-26, setting public hearing 2026 2027 operating budget, Columbia Green Community College, moved by legislator Hobart and seconded by legislator Lucas.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Public hearing is set. No one that abstained, we are good. And we are adjourned. Thank you. Oh, we have a request? Right, I'm gonna not adjourn then yet. We have a request for exec session. I have
Yeah.
a motion and a second, and I believe this is on personnel. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed?
I'm opposed.
And we will go into exec session and immediately. Louver, or yeah, Louver. Who's Louver? Hold on.